Part 1. When I'll eat later turns into a habit. It doesn't happen overnight. One morning, breakfast feels unnecessary. Lunch arrives and you think I'll just have tea. By dinner, the thought of food brings no pleasure. And yet nothing seems wrong. You're not sick, you're just not hungry. Most seniors think that's normal aging. But here's the mystery. The body still needs nourishment, energy for balance, clear memory, strong muscles. Yet the desire to eat quietly fades. Why? Because what worked in your 40s no longer sends the right signals to the brain after 60. Doctors now understand that the real problem isn't in the stomach. It's in the brain's appetite switch, the hypothalamus. When your daily rhythm breaks, when senses dull, or when you stop enjoying the act of eating, the hunger signal simply goes quiet. And here's where one small, consistent action can bring it back, using natural flavor triggers. Certain foods, often the simplest ones, can reactivate that switch without medication. Those who use this knowledge start feeling stronger, steadier, and more alive within days. Those who ignore it often slide into fatigue, weakness, or quiet sadness without realizing why. Marion's silent kitchen. Marion, 68, from Florida, hadn't finished a full plate in months. "Everything tastes like cardboard," she said. Her doctor told her, "You're healthy, but your appetite needs reteaching." He recommended something unexpected: small bites of flavor activators, fresh citrus, a spoonful of peanut butter, or warm soup with ginger. The first day, she forced herself. The second, she noticed a spark. By the fifth, she caught herself wanting lunch again. The smell of orange peel made her stomach growl for the first time in weeks. "It wasn't medicine," Marion smiled later. "It was memory. My body remembered how to want food again." What this means for a 50-plus listener: your appetite isn't gone, it's just asleep. And the right flavors can gently wake it up. Quick what to do now today before your next meal: smell or taste something bright, a slice of lemon, a bit of ginger, or a spoon of peanut butter. Don't wait for hunger. Let smell and warmth start the signal instead. Part 2. The real reason appetite fades after 60. Many seniors believe their appetite shrinks simply because they need less food. The real cause runs deeper and more reversible. As we age, our hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, lose rhythm. The stomach still sends signals, but the brain doesn't always listen. That disconnection often begins after small lifestyle changes: less movement, less sunlight, or emotional stress. The body misreads quiet days as no need for fuel, so it lowers hunger on purpose. The more we skip meals, the quieter the hunger becomes. That's why just eat more advice doesn't work. You can't eat on command when your internal rhythm is off. You have to retrain the signal gently daily with food that wakes the body up instead of weighing it down. The morning trigger: citrus and warmth. Let's start with the first of the 3 hunger-reviving foods: citrus. Not just for vitamin C, its scent and acidity directly stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps the stomach start producing digestive juices. Think of citrus as a spark plug for appetite. 1 glass of warm lemon water in the morning can restart digestive rhythm. The warmth relaxes, the scent awakens, and the taste reminds your body what freshness feels like. Dr. Alina Harris, a geriatric nutritionist, calls this morning ignition. She tells her patients, "Don't rush breakfast. Sip something alive first. It tells your brain, we're back on schedule." Henry's quiet comeback. Henry, 70, from Oregon, lost his appetite after a long winter stuck indoors. His doctor suggested something simple: a slice of orange every morning before his coffee. Within a week, Henry noticed the strangest thing: he began looking forward to breakfast again. That tiny ritual did what no supplement could. The body relearned anticipation. What this means for a 50-plus listener: sometimes hunger isn't about what you eat, it's about giving the body a signal that life, warmth, and flavor are returning. Quick what to do now: try sipping warm lemon water tomorrow morning, slowly before coffee or tea. Notice how your body feels 5 minutes later. If you sense even a flicker of interest in food, that's the hunger signal waking up again. Part 3. When food stops feeling rewarding, there's a quiet shift that happens with age. Food loses its emotional spark. The same meals that once felt comforting start tasting flat. This isn't just about the tongue, it's the dopamine system, the brain's reward center, slowing down. When it stops lighting up around meals, appetite naturally declines. But there's good news: you can reactivate it. The key is to use foods that reawaken pleasure through texture and warmth, not sugar or salt. That's why the second appetite-restoring food is something most people already love but forget to use properly: soups and broths. Why warm soups work like a hug: soups do more than nourish, they soothe. Their scent, warmth, and easy texture send comfort signals to the body that eating is safe and satisfying. The gentle temperature triggers the parasympathetic system, the same one that controls digestion. When you sip broth slowly, your brain gets a message: relax, you're being cared for. That moment of safety is often enough to restart hunger in older adults who have lost interest in food. A small story, Darlene's Kitchen revival. Darlene, 74, from Minnesota, hadn't cooked in months. "It's too much work," she said, "and I'm never hungry anyway." Her granddaughter began visiting once a week to cook simple soups, carrot, chicken, and lentil. The smell alone began to change things. "I'd walk into the kitchen and suddenly I'd want a taste," Darlene said. Within 3 weeks, she was making her own small pot every Sunday. One afternoon, she texted her granddaughter, "Made soup today, ate 2 bowls, felt warm all over." What this means for a 50-plus listener: warmth is not just comfort, it's a signal of life. Soft, aromatic foods restore the brain's interest in eating far faster than cold or bland meals ever could. Instruction block. The warm-up meal first, heat a simple broth, chicken, vegetable, or bone broth. Next, add a pinch of herbs or ginger for scent. Then hold the cup close and breathe in deeply 3 times before sipping. Finally, drink slowly, letting your body feel the warmth travel down. Do this once daily, even before a small meal. It's not about fullness, it's about rebuilding appetite safely. If food no longer feels enjoyable, ask yourself, when was the last time you truly smelled or savored it? Maybe it's time to make something warm, simple, and alive again. Part 4, the body's whisper. I need protein when appetite fades. Most people crave light, bland foods, crackers, tea, a bit of fruit. But over time, that choice makes the body weaker. Here, SY, protein is the fuel of recovery. Without enough of it, muscles shrink, mood dips, and even the immune system slows. Yet many seniors avoid protein not because they don't like it, but because it feels too heavy. The trick is to find gentle proteins that are easy to chew, swallow, and digest, the third key food group for bringing hunger back. These are foods that whisper to the stomach, "This feels good." Think eggs, yogurt, and smooth nut butters. They don't overwhelm the senses, but quietly feed the body's need for nourishment. Thomas's morning change. Thomas, 71, from Pennsylvania, had stopped eating breakfast entirely. He'd sip coffee and call it enough. After a mild fall, his doctor checked his nutrition levels and found he was low in protein. Instead of supplements, she suggested a simple morning ritual: 1 soft-boiled egg, followed by a spoonful of peanut butter. It sounded too simple. But within a week, Thomas noticed something surprising. He was hungry for lunch again. The steady protein helped his body feel satisfied but not heavy. "It's like my system woke up," he said. What this means for a 50-plus listener: sometimes you don't need to eat more often, just more effectively. The right nutrients tell your brain it's safe to feel hungry again. Instruction block. The protein spark first. Start your morning with one soft, protein-rich food, an egg, yogurt, or nut butter. Next, pair it with something warm to drink, coffee, tea, or broth, to wake up digestion. Then sit quietly for 2 minutes afterward. Notice how your body reacts. Finally, let that gentle satisfaction lead you toward your next meal naturally. This rhythm stabilizes blood sugar, reduces fatigue, and rebuilds the hunger cycle within days. Quick what to do now if food feels like a burden. Start small: a few spoonfuls of yogurt, a warm egg, a slice of toast. The point isn't fullness, it's rhythm. Every small success trains your appetite to return. Part 5. When loneliness silences the stomach. Appetite isn't just physical. It's emotional, and loneliness is one of its quietest thieves. After 60, many people start eating alone more often. Meals lose their meaning, conversation fades, and the act of eating turns into routine survival rather than pleasure. Researchers at Johns Hopkins found that seniors who regularly eat alone are twice as likely to experience appetite decline, not from illness, but from lack of sensory and emotional stimulation. When the mind feels disconnected, the body loses the motivation to nourish itself. But there's hope. Even small connections, a call, a shared mealtime, a few words with someone, can reignite the desire to eat. Betty's evening call. Betty, 76, from Maine, hadn't cooked in over a year. "I'll just grab crackers," she'd say. Her daughter noticed her losing weight and suggested a simple idea: call each other every evening at dinner time. They didn't talk about anything deep, just what they were eating, how the day went, what smelled good in the kitchen. After 2 weeks, Betty started setting the table again. After 3, she told her daughter, "I caught myself planning what to cook." What this means for a 50-plus listener: sometimes the body won't eat because the heart doesn't want to eat alone. Appetite is a social spark, and even the smallest flame keeps it alive. Instruction block. The shared bite routine first. Choose one meal, any meal, to make shared, even virtually. Next, call or video someone you trust, or play gentle background sound that reminds you of company: a TV voice, quiet music, birds outside. Then describe one thing about your meal aloud: taste, smell, or texture. Finally, listen. The moment you speak or hear another voice, the brain releases oxytocin, the same hormone that revives appetite and calm. Try it once a day. You might notice food tasting better simply because your body feels less alone. When was the last time you truly shared a meal, even through a phone or memory? Could that be your first small step toward hunger again? Part 6. The forgotten power of routine and light. There's another reason seniors quietly lose their appetite. Their days lose shape. Without fixed meal times or natural light exposure, the brain stops tracking morning, noon, and night. And when that rhythm fades, so does hunger. The hypothalamus, the same brain area that controls appetite, also regulates your body clock. When you skip meals or stay indoors with dim light, that clock drifts. The stomach no longer knows when to expect food, and hunger signals weaken. That's why one of the simplest appetite fixes involves no medication, no supplements, not even new foods. It's structure. Eugene's sunlight habit. Eugene, 73, from California, started his mornings without breakfast for years. His wife noticed how thin he'd become and gently pushed him to just step outside before his coffee. He began sitting by the porch for 5 minutes each morning, letting the sunlight hit his face. By the end of the first week, he started feeling a faint pull in his stomach before going inside hunger. Within 2 weeks, he was back to making eggs and toast. "It wasn't the food," he said. "It was the sunshine telling my body it's time to live again." What this means for a 50-plus listener: appetite doesn't start in the kitchen, it starts with rhythm, movement, and light. When your body knows it's morning, it remembers it's time to eat. Instruction block: the morning light reset first. As soon as you wake, open your curtains or step outside for at least 5 minutes. Next, take slow breaths and stretch lightly, even if only for a minute. Then drink something warm, tea, broth, or lemon water to start internal warmth. Finally, sit where natural light touches you as you eat your first bite. These signals, light, warmth, and gentle movement, rebuild your body's natural rhythm of hunger and digestion. If you've lost track of mealtimes, could a small, light ritual help bring them back? You don't need a full plan, just the sun on your face and a warm sip to start the day right. Part 7. When the mind says no, but the body is starving sometimes, loss of appetite isn't about taste or loneliness, it's about control. After decades of managing families, careers, and crises, many older adults unconsciously equate eating less with discipline. They don't want to be a burden. They say, "I don't need much." But beneath that phrase often lies quiet fear of aging, of dependence, of change. The mind begins protecting itself by refusing hunger, yet the body keeps whispering, "Feed me." When that mental pattern breaks, even slightly, appetite often rushes back faster than expected. The fix isn't to force food, but to allow softness, to see eating not as indulgence, but as self-respect. Helen's quiet permission. Helen, 70, from Illinois, was raised never to waste food or eat for pleasure. After her husband passed, she lost 20 pounds. When her doctor asked why, she shrugged. "I just don't deserve much." He paused and replied gently, "Helen, eating is how your body thanks you for surviving." Something clicked. That evening, she made herself oatmeal with cinnamon, her late husband's favorite. She sat at the table, alone but peaceful, and ate the whole bowl. She later said, "I realized feeding myself wasn't selfish, it was gratitude." What this means for a 50-plus listener: restoring appetite often begins with self-compassion. Food isn't just fuel, it's permission to keep living fully. Instruction block: the gratitude meal. First, before eating, take one slow breath and think of something you're grateful for, even something small: sunlight, a voice, a memory. Next, say quietly to yourself, "This meal is my way of saying thank you." Then take your first bite slowly, noticing the warmth or texture. Finally, finish when your body says enough, not the plate. This mindful act restores connection between thought, emotion, and body, the true triangle of appetite. When was the last time you ate with gratitude, not guilt? Maybe that's the missing flavor your body's been waiting for. Part 8. The 3 foods that quietly bring hunger back. By now, you've seen that appetite isn't a single switch, it's a symphony. But 3 foods, used intentionally, can help restart that melody faster than any pill or supplement. Each one triggers a different part of the body's natural hunger response. Let's bring them together. 1. Citrus, the morning spark. Citrus, lemon, orange, grapefruit, wakes the senses. Its scent activates the vagus nerve, telling your stomach it's time to produce digestive juices. The vitamin C helps the body process nutrients better, while the aroma rekindles anticipation. Use it in the morning, smell it before peeling, drink it warm, let its brightness replace sluggishness. Within days, your body begins to wait for breakfast again. That's hunger returning naturally. 2. Soup, the comfort trigger. Soup isn't just hydration, it's a sensory reset. The warmth improves circulation, the smell soothes the nervous system, and the texture is easy on aging digestion. A small bowl before any meal signals the body to prepare for more food. Many geriatric specialists now recommend starting every main meal with a light, flavorful broth, not just for nutrition, but to awaken the appetite response through comfort. 3. Protein, the strength signal. Gentle proteins like eggs, yogurt, nut butters, or soft fish help rebuild the muscle tissue that drives metabolism. As metabolism wakes up, so does hunger. The body begins asking for steady energy again instead of shutting down. Dr. Alicia Nguyen, a senior wellness expert, says, "When the body feels strong, it asks to stay strong. Protein tells the system it's time to live." Jack's Recovery Jack, 72, from Nevada, combined these three steps: lemon water at sunrise, warm soup at noon, soft-boiled egg in the evening. At first, it felt like a chore. Then, on the fifth day, he noticed something new. He was looking forward to eating. He told his daughter, "I didn't realize how much I missed the taste of life." What this means for a 50-plus listener: food is not the enemy, it's the invitation. Once you reintroduce warmth, scent, and nourishment, appetite follows naturally like a friend finding the way home. Quick what to do now: if you remember only 3 foods, citrus, soup, and protein, that's enough. Add one to your day and you'll start to notice the small signs of hunger returning: a growl, a craving, a little spark of pleasure. Part 9. When hunger returns, so does life when appetite comes back. It's never just about food. It's about motion returning to life, the brightness of morning, the scent of soup, the warmth in your hands. You feel steadier on your feet, more curious about your day, more alive. For seniors, regaining appetite often marks something much deeper: recovery of self. The body that had gone quiet begins speaking again. It says, "Feed me, trust me, I'm still here." Even tiny rituals, a lemon slice, a cup of broth, a spoon of yogurt, become moments of connection between body and spirit. You're not forcing health, you're cooperating with it. And here's the real secret: it's never too late to bring hunger back. The brain stays adaptable well into our 90s. Once you start stimulating it with scent, warmth, rhythm, and gratitude, it begins learning again, fast. Evelyn's Full Circle Evelyn, 78, from Colorado, used to say, "I'm just not hungry anymore." But after watching a friend recover through small changes, she decided to try too. She began her mornings with warm lemon water, her lunches with soup, and her evenings with soft yogurt and fruit. By the second week, she was laughing again during meals. Her daughter noticed color returning to her cheeks. "I didn't think something so small could make me want to live again," Evelyn said quietly one night. That's what real nourishment looks like: not just calories, but hope returning bite by bite. What this means for a 50-plus listener: your appetite is your body's way of saying, "I'm ready for more life." Don't silence it. Listen, feed it, celebrate it. Warm closing: if you've lost your appetite lately, please remember, it doesn't mean you're fading. It means your body needs to be reminded, gently, how to feel alive again. Start small. Feel the warmth, smell the flavor, invite life back in. Thank you for being here and for taking care of yourself in quiet, courageous ways. If this message resonated, subscribe to Senior Wisdom and Wellness, where we keep sharing gentle, real steps to make every year feel more alive. And if you found a food or ritual that helped you get your appetite back, share it below. Someone, somewhere, needs your story tonight.